What's going on, guys? A second episode of the King's Corner up on the channel now, where we're talking about Insidious, The Red Door. Just picked it up on Blu-ray, and we're talking about that. We're also talking about the new comedy film Bottoms. If you want to watch the other episode I put up today, I reviewed the new Hulu film, No One Will Save You. That's up on the channel now. I highly recommend you watch that video and film. But let's just start with Insidious: The Red Door. This movie is the fifth Insidious film and the third film in the Lambert trilogy, where we see the film take place, I believe, 9 years later, something like that, to where the character is sort of broken apart. Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne have now separated, as you know, we have Dalton now grown up and he's going to college, and the family is sort of in disarray. So as he goes off to college and Patrick Wilson is at home and he's dealing with his life, they start to experience things from their past from the further, which is starting to seep into their lives again. And now they both have been hypnotized at the end of the second film to forget. They now have to begin to start to remember, and how they're going to deal with it and how they're going to survive this time. So that's where we're at with this. And Patrick Wilson directs this movie. This is his directorial debut, and you know he's acting in the film as well once again as Josh. Look, do I like this movie? I'll be flat out blunt with you. Uh, Not really. Do I think it's terrible? No, I don't think this movie is terrible. But you can tell this is Patrick Wilson's first time directing a film. The film is very mediocrely directed, and edited and all that. The way it's put together and the script, I don't know if there's a problem with the script, but the film is extremely boring and extremely dull. The story is great. What I just explained to you is terrific, but the way it's executed is extremely basic and dull, and it leaves us to see things that we've seen before. There's nothing special about this movie other than having that original cast back. You've got Lynn Shay in this film. You see her right there. She's back in the movie for about 2 minutes total. She is the face of the Insidious franchise. Patrick Wilson is not the face of the Insidious franchise. Ty Simpkins is not the face of the Insidious franchise. Lynn Shay as Elise is the face of the franchise, and she's sidelined in this film. Now, look, was she in the second movie? Spoilers, she dies at the end of the first one. She's in the second one for a little bit. She's in the further. She helps them out. She is used poorly in this film. I feel like they could have given her a bigger role as they did in that second film. But they didn't. So when she is in it, it is nice to see. But regardless, the movie is just very dull. It's very boring. The performances are good, but you know, there's just really nothing that leaves me going, "Wow, I love that film." Or there wasn't a scene, you know, like the kitchen table scene in the first film. This is not a scary movie either. This is not a scary film. Like the first one is terrifying. The second one, not as much, but it has its horrific moments for sure. Uh, this one doesn't have that. This one's it's not scary. Um, so I think he just wanted to tell the story of what was going to happen all these years later. But you know, it's just it's not scary. It's kind of boring. But the story is good. You know, if you want to read a synopsis of it, it's like, oh, okay, I see where it went. But it's kind of unnecessary. Like the way it did went was like, oh, what a great finale. You know, it's like, okay, I see how it went, but it was it's unnecessary overall. And I don't think it's a great film. I don't think it's a terrible film, but it's a 2.5 out of 5 star movie for me. And yeah, I didn't hate it, but there it is. It is what it is. And now let's talk about Bottoms. This film is starring Rachel Senote, and co-written by her as well. This film very much reminds me of Booksmart, which was a movie that came out directed by Olivia Wilde, starring Caitlin Dever and Beanie Feldstein. Here we've got these two leads, and what do they want? They want to have sex. They want to have sex And what are they going to do to have sex? Well, they are going to say that they went to juvenile hall and now they're back and they want to teach a bunch of girls in a fight club so they can have sex with cheerleaders. That's the plot of the movie. And look, I like this film. I think this is a funny film. I think it's an extremely entertaining film. And I think it's a very well written film and well acted film. The only issue I have with it is a big one. It doesn't feel like it could happen on the planet Earth. It is not very realistic. The stuff going on with the characters and internally, I really enjoyed. But when you have things happen during a school football game that happened at the end of this movie, the police will be swarming that place. It is just totally unbelievable. The way that teachers talk to the students is extremely ridiculous. The way that it seems like there's never any adults around, and for this fight club to be just happening in the school gymnasium, with blood being shed all over the floor and people getting punched and socked in the face, it just doesn't seem very realistic. So if you just totally take realism out of this, you'd be like, okay, this is a great movie. But if you're going to add realism, be like, okay, this stuff really, I mean, the stuff with like the girls having crushes on other girls and all that happening, that's very realistic. But what they do in this Fight Club stuff and everything that takes place in this movie uh, is just is off the wall. This movie is unhinged. Where you have the Booksmart film, which I do think is a better film overall. This might be more rewatchable though, but that movie just is more harnessed in reality, and it's more believable. So look, Bottoms. It's extremely entertaining. It's a little unbelievable, but in the end of the day, it's a good comedy, and it's a 4 out of 5 star film. And this is something that I would rewatch and recommend. So, guys, that's been it for this episode of the King's Corner. Comment down below. Did you see any of these films? Leave that down below. What'd you think about them? Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We got a spoiler review for Ahsoka. That's up on the channel now, episode 7. Just posted a King's Corner review episode for No One Will Save You, another Caitlin Deaver film that I was just mentioning. Check that out. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at RyanKing72 or X, and on TikTok and Instagram at King Arises 131. That's been it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching this one, and I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.